You're sitting in my office with the city on the glass. Shoes still too clean, talking like this life moves fast. You watch the doors downstairs, think that's where the power sits, where the men in dark cut jackets hand out glory with their fists. But all those voices on the staircase, all those names you wanna know, end up ink between these pages where the real numbers go. There's a lamp with a green shade, there's a safe behind my chair. There's a column for your winnings, there's a column for your share. Every shortcut that you're chasing, every secret that you hide, every time you bend the order, it gets written on my side. You think favors fade like echoes, that the street forgets your debt, but my fountain pen remembers every promise that you made. I don't shout across the table, I don't have to raise my tone, I just shift a line of figures, and you never eat alone. I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe. Every borrowed piece of thunder, every night you run the show, when the talking's finally over and the light turns low and low, it's the ledger on my desk that says who stays and who must go. You can stack your little stories on the names you think you know, but I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe. See this folded little marker with a date beside your name? That's the night you cut a corner, left your brother with the blame. See this note about a driver who stayed quiet, took the fall. He's been paying with his silence, I've been watching through it all. When you think no one is looking and you cross another line, it just adds another shadow to the sun that isn't mine. You call it easy money, I call it years you haven't paid. You call it just one favor, I call it how a man is weighed. When the lights are down to embers and your luck runs out of tricks, you will find me at this desk, choosing where the balance sticks. I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe. Every hurried, hungry handshake, every underpriced hello, when the circle starts to tighten and the loud ones move too slow, it's the totals in my ledger that decide who leaves the show. You can chase your paper kingdom, you can dress it up and glow, but I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe. plastic gloves in the trash, thin towel by the bathroom, bleach biting through the past, suitcase half open, shirts folded dark and plain, number scratched on a matchbook if they ever speak my name. Ice machine in the hallway, breathing like a tide alone. Neon from the diner stains the curtains fainting on. You're somewhere down this highway, making noise you call a wind. I'm the quiet call they make when they want the dark drawn in. Stories, kid, I just wipe the ink. I don't chase the spotlight, I just stand beside the brink. Loud men love the mirrors, love the way their shadows grow, till reflections start demanding more than they can ever hold. I'm moving after footsteps when the shouting's burned away. Tidy up what's left of all the legends of the day. No trophies on my dresser, no pictures on the wall, just a jacket on a hanger and a number they can call. You think the world remembers who talked hardest in the room, but names fade faster than the circles from a glass in cheap perfume. When your noise draws heat and the bright lights glow, they send for the quiet one they barely know. I walk in slow with my head down low, living by the cleaner's code, leave with nothing to show. You stand in the window where the hot wind blows. I live in the hallway, boy, and still walk home. I've seen kids just like you, leaning by the back room doors. Fresh shoes, fresh stories, same stains on the floor. They laugh at simple warnings, call it fear dressed up as age, till a thin file lands open with their picture on the page. You think they crave your temper, think they need your flair and flame, but the men who sign the ledgers barely memorize your name. They will ring this room one evening, say there's too much you have shown. Ask me like it's nothing to make sure you're never known. So listen once in quiet before you throw the rest away. Power isn't thunder, kid, it's how you leave the day. Quiet men write endings that the loud men never see. You can join the echoes, or you can move like me. When your noise draws heat and the bright lights glow, they send for the quiet one they barely know. I'm walking slow with my head down low, living by the cleaner's code, leave with nothing to show. If you keep painting targets everywhere you go, you'll meet me in a doorway you don't wanna know. but this night don't read the phone. Badge riding in my pocket, edges bent and body worn. Blue flash through the crooked blinds, throw stripes across the wall. You stir the ice in your tall glass, waiting on my call. You ask me where the line sits between justice and a deal. I look down at this old badge and say, kid, here's the real. There's a ledger in my desk back at the station, locked and lame. Names written in a shorthand only I can really name. Some of them wear clean suits, some ride blacked out tinted cars. Some buy rounds in rooms like this, far from uniforms and bars. You think the law is shining, but you'll see what I have seen. It's a blade we pass between us, and we swear it's for the team. You call me your good mentor, say I'm showing you what's right. You don't see the quiet traffic that I walk through every night, 'cause I keep the law on a leash in this town. Close, let it slack, turn the sirens down. Every line that I bend puts another mark on me. Yeah, I keep the law on a leash in this town. But that leash is getting tighter every time I set you free. Case files in a cardboard box stacked under my old chair. Coffee rings on faded notes, corners curling in the air. I've ghosted more than one report to make numbers look like gold. Let a colder hand walk easy, so a harder one got sold. Still I've got my set of borders carved in bone instead of ink. There's a floor I will not fall through, even standing on the brink. One night you'll get that phone call with a price inside the tone. You'll be standing in a hallway with a choice that's yours alone. You can hang up, walk the narrow, keep your conscience straight and thin, or you'll bargain with this city just to keep your brother in. I keep the law on a leash in this town. Reel it in, let it out, make it smile or frown. Every favor that I take cuts a deeper line in me. I keep the law on a leash in this town. And the leash is wrapping quiet round the man you wanna be. Yeah, I keep the law on a leash in this town. And I pray you'll never wear it like a collar after me. two lane by the stream. Unmarked car idling low, blue dash lights barely gleam. Paper cup of cold coffee sitting by my worn out seat. Case file open on the dashboard, names and nights in faded ink and heat. Street lamps throw long bars of yellow through the dust and stone. Boots on gravel in the shadow, that's you walking here alone. You still shine that badge like glass, think it's armor made of lead. Think the rule book's gonna hold when this town leans into bite. I learned different in the alleys where the sirens seldom go, where a nod buys you a minute and the promises move slow. I take calls from both directions, weigh the favors, count the cost, keep the wolves on separate corners so no one knows they're crossed. This bridge don't care who's honest, just who's standing at the end. Laws a line on paper, kid, out here is who will bend. You can wear that silver spotless, walk it straight like you were taught. But every man who lasts out here learns his soul is not for bought. I'm the shadow of this badge, not the shine they let you see. I keep my side of the street with the keys they gave to me. I can pull you from the fire or let you walk there on your own. I don't answer to the whispers, I just stand in what I've done. Power's not in shouted orders, it's in which calls I don't take. I'm the shadow of the badge, and I decide what doesn't break. There was tape along the gutter once, pale curve near the curve, young suit shaking by the cruiser, eyes that couldn't fix the blur. Crew I knew stood in the alley, waiting on a sign from me. I let one go on a promise, bought this city 2 weeks of sleep. That kid logged it down as lucky, thought the storm just passed him by. I still catch his look behind me when I knot this same old tie. Like a room at dawn is quiet, just the hum of metal rolls. Badge hangs heavy on a hook with weight that only I still know. I could file a clean report, close the door and play it blind, or talk to you like this tonight and show you where the lines unwind. I'm the shadow of this badge, where the wires all twist in me. I'm the calm behind the sirens, boots that never leave the street. You can chase your shining picture, call it justice, black and white. Or you can write your own hard border and still walk home at night. Power's in the vows you keep when no one's looking. my chair back, tie coiled like a fuse. Ledger open by my elbow, pages heavy with the truth. There's a steel key in my pocket for a door behind this wall, where the smiles and handshakes end and the quiet numbers fall. I type, I miss your laughter, watch the letters slowly build, then drag them to the trash because this room runs on words killed. On the surface I'm the man who signs the contracts and the deals. All the marble in the lobby tells a story of how it feels. But behind that frosted doorway, there's a safe that never sleeps. Folders stacked in metal drawers, secrets filed in careful heaps. I've watched men in tailored coats fold like paper in this air. Closed a briefcase on a silence no good heart should have to bear. You say you want the whole me, every shadow, every scar, but you don't know how far it is from your little coffee bar. If you ever cross this threshold, you never walk back out the same. There's a line inside this office and it's carved under my name. So the door stays locked, there's the deal I made. I keep the wolves in order, keep the trouble in the shade. I'm the gentleman in gray they shake hands with on the floor, but the man you think you love lives behind another door. I can hold this tower steady till the city clocks all stop. If I want you untouched, then the door stays locked. I remember you in denim at a booth beside the street, paper cup between your hands, tapping rhythm with your feet. We talked about leaving someday, just a map and open sky, before my name went on the letterhead and trouble learned to fly. Now my cufflinks click like shackles every time I fold my sleeves, and the phones on this dark desk no more ghosts than you believe. You send me, are you sleeping? Are you okay? Are you alone? I stare at that blue question in the half-light of this room. I don't trade your soft days for a plaque beside this door. I already pay enough to walk these polished floors. I won't pull you through a keyhole, build a favors, fear and debt. Won't let your gentle kindness be the margin someone sets. If I have to stand the villain in the silence of your mind, better that than see you bruised by the deals I have to sign. So the door stays locked, though the city calls your name. I keep my thumb off sin and my shadow in the frame. I'm the gentleman in gray, signing lines they never see, and the only one who bends is the man behind the key. I can hold this tower steady till the elevator drops. If I want you whole, then the door stays locked. wrestling, plumbing on the paperwork, no one left on the floor. Badge resting in the top drawer, sidearm sleeping by the door. There's a folder with your handwriting, corners bent but pages clean. Couple names under a cover sheet that never hit the machine. You said, we just bend it slightly, no one even has to know. But every circle that you draw has got a cost along the road. Under that old bridge by the river, car park with the engine low, tail lights carving faded red lines on the water as it flows. There's an envelope on the back seat, rubber band around the stack. You're leaning like it's all normal, like there's no way walking back. I keep one hand on the door frame, other resting near my chest. You keep talking like a rookie who ain't seen how far this gets. Every favor writes a number, every number cuts a mark. You can hide it from the daylight, but it's waiting in the dark. I keep my lines in the dark, but I won't cross them for you. I walk that edge with a steady heart, do the dirt I choose to do. You wanna dance with burning wires, I learned to hold it arm's length too. But I won't sink what's left of me just to say I ran with you. I keep my lines in the dark, and they still cut straight and true. Rooftop overlooking this city, windows glowing like a grid. You light up like you're still certain that the world is what it is. You talk big about promotion, about names across the door, about nights when no one's watching and the rules don't count no more. I just lean against the railing, coat pulled tight against the wind, thinking how a man gets twisted by the little things he wins. You think it's all the same street, just a little left or right. You think a step don't matter if it's taken out of sight. But every quiet compromise is narrow in your view, till one night you don't remember what you swore you wouldn't do. I keep my lines in the dark, but I won't cross them for you. I sign my name in the silence, where the louder men pass through. You wanna run with louder thunder like it'll never fall on you, but I watch too many bright ones dim out chasing something new. I keep my lines in the dark, that's how I stay walking true. past midnight. Name I know too well. Short ring, no hesitation. That's a certain kind of bell. Grab the keys over the counter. Lock, click, quiet on the door. Highway lines like faded veins I've driven down before. Neon from a distant exit, through a tremor on the glass. You said, room 12 at the old place. Don't talk, just get here fast. Motel sign buzzing crooked, couple letters halfway dead. Ice machine in the corner, coughing out a steady thread. You were sitting on the mattress with your back against the wall. Shoes still on, palms turned upward, staring hard at nothing at all. In the bathroom on the floor, there was more than just a stain. Towels drowning in the sink where you tried to rinse the blame. You don't have to tell the story, I can read it by the room. By the way the curtains twisted, by the smell of bleach and doom. I don't ask you for confession, I don't write down what you do. I just count what needs removing and what still points back to you. I'm the man you call too late, when the shouting's out of breath, when the dust hangs in the light and the air won't let you rest. I walk in without a question, with my gloves and heavy trunk. Turn your shaking into silence, turn your crisis into junk. You can dress it up as ruthless till the world comes for its dead. I'm the man you call too late, I'm the mercy you regret. Later at a lonely station, hard lights over paper cups. Trash can by the diesel pumps, night wind trying to stir it up. I dropped a bundle in the barrel, watched the plastic start to curl. Checked the mirror on my bumper like it might show another world. You stood frozen by the vending lines on some forgotten brand. I said, this is done, go home, wipe your prints off of my hand. One night I'll let it ring, let your name fade off the screen. Leave the trunk half full of nothing, keep my boots a little clean. Watch this highway from a window, like a man who changed his lane. See you driving with no number that can pull you out of flame. But tonight you call too late, and I answer like I do. Turn a raw and shaken story into something far from you. I walk in without a question, take the pieces you can't face, leave you standing in the doorway like a ghost in your own place. You can think that makes you fearless while I balance what you break. I'm the man you call too late, and I'm the shadow you can't shake. Last call lights are hanging like tired halos over glass. Bar stool standing empty where the noise of evening passed. I'm parked down at the far end with my shoulder on the wood, badge resting on the counter where the shadows look the good. Condensation on a tumbler leaves a circle in the grain. Neon hums above the bottles like a low electric vein. Through the window by the jukebox, you can watch the river slide, carrying the city's secrets under that old iron spine. I climb stairwells that smell like bleaching old fear in the grout. One hand on the railing, one hand keeping something out. Files on my desk say justice in a neat and printed line, but the truth is in the phone calls that don't make the overtime. Some nights I keep the envelope, some nights I make it burn. Some faces get a warning, some faces never learn. I answer to a captain, to the street and to my name. Three different hungry ledgers pulling on the same chain. I'm the man with the questions and the keys to every door. Every favor that I answer locks another board to the floor. So I lay my badge on the bar when I drink with the dark. Let the city see its reflection in the metal and the mark. I'm the law in a suit with a stain you'll never chart. Half the savior, half the problem, still I own my crooked heart. When this town needs a whisper or a quiet walking scar, it comes looking for the hand that leaves a badge upon the bar. I've seen tape across a doorway like a cheap yellow crown. Heard a mother beg for answer while the cameras pinned her down. Dark lights blinking over water, thick and slow and black. Blueprints on a wet plane, never making it back. Sometimes I pull a kid aside, tell him take another street. Sometimes I turn a name in just to keep a war from eating me. If you think that makes me dirty, you were never in this room, where every move you don't make grows a different kind of bloom. Never sign a statement you'd be scared to read aloud. Never trust a smiling hand that always wants a crowd. Never drag the truly clean through your private little wall. Never take a folded favor you can't drop onto this floor. Keep your circle tight and ready. Keep your secrets hard and few. Keep one corner of your spirit where this city can't get through. So I lay my badge on the bar when I bargain with the night. Let the river and the mirror share the same uneven light. I'm the line they keep on bending every time they go too far. Still the one who signs his name beneath the weight of what they are. When this town needs a gentleman to walk its hidden scars, it still pays in silent currency for a badge left on the bar. Last stool at the end of the counter, leg a little short of the bar. Last drink of the drill of us till the bed on freezing. Yeah, I'm hungry now. Lives on games and die like you were still alive from streets of took a seat, but I can see you in the glass of my soul. Play the room all night. Wise Bill, one journey different men. Some learned how to count their step. Some walked out and never came again. I used to sit where you are now, jacket then my jaw too hard. Thought the world would be folding open if I push it with one more card. Then I learned the quiet grammar of who leaves and who comes back. How a favor bought on promise puts a shadow on your track. This ain't just a bar, kid, it's a classroom after dark. Every nod, every silence leaves a footprint, leaves a mark. You can drink and miss a lesson, you can laugh and miss the load, or you can listen between the notes for the bar's too cold. I live by a bar's too cold, a carved low where the lights don't reach. Keep my back against this wall and let my stories teach. I'm the man behind this guitar, turning warnings into songs. If you wanna walk this life and still know where you belong, power's not in getting louder when the room begins to shake. It's in knowing when to stand and which promises you make. boys into a narrow lane. Met a man with easy money, smooth advice for easy gain. He said, all you need is nerve, I can dress you like you're made. But his gaze was counting negatives while his smile was counting trade. I walked out with heavier pockets, left a friend to hold the bill. Next week, that same friend's jacket hung here, empty, hanging still. So I keep his old guitar beat taped beneath this wooden edge. Every time my fingers find it, that's another quiet pledge. Not to trade out all my people just to sit a higher chair. Not to trust a softened offer that won't meet me in the glare. I live by a bar stool, cold scratch small, where the stains run along. Hold this seat at the far end, turn my scars into a song. You can learn it if you're watching, when the room leans toward the door. When a man decides he's finished and he's not coming back for more. Power's not in chasing legends till they grind you in their low. It's in leaving with your spine straight in the bar stool, cold you hold. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a green shaded lamp on that old oak desk upstairs. Pages open like a mouth that only speaks in sums and shares. Every name in ink, every favor waiting lines. You can build an empire on columns and deadlines. I don't carry steel, I don't shout across the floor. I just turn a quiet key in a quiet metal drawer. Down here in the back room bar, you wipe one last clean glass. Neon hum on chrome, clock hands crawling slow past. I loosen up my collar, lay my watch beside the rail. Say pour me something slow, I'll tell a different kind of tale. Not the kind of story where a hero rides the wind. More careful calculation, how he chose who wouldn't win. I moved a date, I changed the route, just numbers on a page from this distance. Mercy and betrayal share a phase. 'Cause the ledger never closes, it just waits for me at night. Every figure, every face under that little pool of light. I decide
decide who stays in balance, who gets buried in the red. I don't pull the trigger, I just count what's in their stead. I'm the one who keeps it ordered in a city built on lies, and the ledger never closes when I close my eyes. He was leaning on the counter, laughing like the world was fine. Same worn leather jacket, same crooked little smile as mine. We started running errands when the street still knew our names. Back when all we risked was scraped up hands and petty games. But he wouldn't play it careful when the stakes began to climb. So I circled him in numbers, left him standing right on time. There's a pencil mark beside him where his balance used to be. You can rub away the charcoal, but the ghost stays in the fee. If I'd gone down there myself, maybe we'd both still be here. Or we'd be two lines crossed out clean, double-checked, and disappeared. But the ledger never closes, it still whispers in that room. Every column like a hallway, every total like a tune. I decide who gets forgiveness, who just fades into the red. I don't pull the trigger, I still count the cost instead. I'm the quiet one in the corner where the real power flows, and the ledger never closes. That's the life I chose. This lamp paints a circle on this old dark wooden grain. Blinds cut up the city lights in silver crooked lanes. Your jacket's on the backrest, you're leaning like you're 10 feet tall. Boot heel tapping at the carpet like you're ready for a brawl. There's a ledger by my elbow, every page a quiet scar. Safe door sitting half a turn from opening too far. I turn the key inside the lock, let the hallway voices fade. In this room we talking truths about the deals that we have made. You've been running little errands, bringing envelopes and names. Think the muscle and the noise is how you carve out your own claim. But the real weight sits in numbers, who gets cut and who gets fed, which loose end gets tied in silence, which bad promise stays unpaid. There was once a man before you who kept pushing past the mark, tried to bend the code for profit and brag loud out about the dark, I still sign his old agreements. He looks back from this same glass. He's a warning in the margins, how fast golden boys can pass. You're staring at the skyline like it's something you can own, but power's just the things you carry and the lines you leave alone. I'm the hand that draws the lines you don't cross. Quiet ink, heavy coat, measure profit and loss. If you wanna breathe up here, you don't gamble my trust. You move light around the borders, keep your temper in the dust. You can swagger in the alleys, you can roll to the bars, but in this room I'm There's a folder on this desktop with your habits, dates, and debts. Every shortcut that you've taken, every time you've placed a bet. You thought nobody saw the extra stack you slipped inside your coat, but the city keeps a ledger and I balance every note. I don't shout, I don't go hunting just to sharpen up my teeth. I move pieces when I have to, and I sign what stays beneath. If I let you keep on climbing with that storm behind your eyes, you bring thunder to this doorway, neither one of us survives. So listen when an older man who's carried iron weight says the hardest part of power is the anger you don't wake. You don't prove that you're a legend by how quickly streets turn red. You prove you understand the code by walking back from where it led. I'm the hand that draws the lines you don't cross. Quiet pen, steady heart, counting every hidden cost. If you want your name remembered, there's a price you adjust. You stay just behind the edges, keep your hunger under trust. You can play the eager soldier, you can polish up your gloss, but remember who controls. You don't cross. You can pause, you don't cross. You don't cross, you don't cross. You don't cross, you don't cross, you don't cross. Don't cross, you don't cross. Second class compartment, yellow numbers on the door. Paper ticket in my pocket, shoes flat on the floor. Suitcase by my ankle with a tag I didn't write. Window full of platform lamps dissolving in the night. Coffee cooling quietly on the fold-out metal tray. Pen keeps drawing circles round the words I will not say. Your name sits in the corner of this page I never send. Every station that we pass feels like another almost end.
and saw me smile. Said my eyes look like a man who's done his time without a trial. You were right about the numbers I kept hidden in my head. Every favor, every want, and every time I walked instead, I kept choosing one more meeting, one more knock behind the door, telling you I'd come home early, then I'd see the waiting floor. You just straightened up my collar, kissed a question off my face. Said a man like you don't run, you only leave when you say a raise. Now the city's just a shadow on the glass behind my seat. All the things I didn't tell you right and quiet through my feet. I'm the man on the last train out, not a dog that lost the chase. I decide which night I vanish, I decide when I leave that place. Every mile is one more sentence in a story I rewrote. Every light along this railway brand's a promise that I broke. If you wake and feel me missing like a hand without its vein, just remember I walked out by my own code on this last train. Countryside comes by in fragments, little houses, sleeping fields. Faint reflections in the window show a face that never yields. I can see you in the glass there, half a ghost behind my eyes. All the mornings in your kitchen, all the don't ask where replies. I got numbers in my memory and a phone I will not touch. Names that never hit the paper, debts I paid a little much. There's a folded photograph between the lining of my coat. You're still leaning on my shoulder, trusting fingers at my throat. If they tell you that I ran, say he walked and he walked slow. He was done with saving cowards from the fires they let grow. He was tired of being summoned just to tidy up the end. So he chose a moving cage and made the darkness his last friend. If you ever find this letter that I'm scared to let you see, know I left a life behind me, so I couldn't take you with me. I'm the man on the last train out, not a shadow on the run. I'm the one who closed the notebook, not the one who dropped the gun. Every mile's another handshake with the things I can't explain. Every town that sinks behind me rinses something from my name. If you stand beside your window and you listen through the rain, you might hear a distant engine carry off the weight of my stain. When you think about the danger that once slept inside your room, picture me on this night railway, drawing borders round our doom.
Motel curtains barely closed. There's a crack of sodium light past the number on the room key. 7 faded, almost white. Suitcase open on the bedspread. Half my life in folded rolls. Map unfolded on the dresser. Black pen cutting inside down that silent phone, vending hum along the hallway, ice machine that grinds and groans. I'm writing you without the paper, letting every sentence burn. 'Cause if this letter ever left here, you'd have nowhere safe to turn. I remember kitchen tiles trembling when the sirens brushed our door. How you held a chipped old coffee cup, you'd never done that before. Men in collars on the corners, staring straight through fragile glass. You pretended not to see them, but your fingers told the past. I was trouble in a good dress shirt, bringing storms to your soft street. Every bouquet walked on footsteps, every kiss hit restless heat. So tonight I take the blame, the only way that keeps it clean. I erase my shadow quietly, draw a line between our scenes. Out past the last lit exit where the road forgets my name. Every mile without a witness is another cut in chain. I leave no forwarding address, no trail of motel numbers, no return to that old mess. If you ever hear I vanished, no, I walked, I didn't run. Chose the dark side of the highway over dragging you along. You deserve a quiet morning, not the ghosts that share my death. So I'm gone without a word, no forwarding address. Gas station glow across the gravel, pump slow ticking up the cost. Cash on counter, little change, just a nod and then I'm lost. Glove box holds a stack of papers with a name I seldom use. Dashboard gray from other nights when I tried driving out the bruise. I thumb the contact with your picture, little smile and fading light. Watch the seconds on the screen hang heavy, then I black it for the night. Rearview mirror shows a vacancy, sign shrinking in the dots. I let the taillights write the ending for the words I never got. Men like me don't get soft landings, just two doors in the dark. You roll home in folded fabric, or you wipe away your mark. This is me choosing distance over flowers on your floor, keeping danger in my rear view, not parked breathing at your door. I leave no forward and address, just a highway and a habit, and a code I won't confess. If you ever hear a story that I burned out, don't you mourn. Take it like a clean erasure, like a number I've outworn. You deserve a different future than the one my shadow Blinds half closed, city line crawling on the office floor. Desk lamp burning like a halo over papers I ignore. There's a jacket on the coat rack from a younger, sharper time. Cufflinks still in perfect order, but the man outgrew the shine. Monitor is humming with a slow parade of deals. Elevator rings soft and distant like a conscience on its heels. In the drawer beside my right hand, there's a weight I rarely touch, just a key and little notebook that have come to mean too much. Kid, when you first signed your name on that bright glass entry door, you were counting future zeros, never thinking about the floor. You saw boardrooms, not the basement, where the quiet numbers hide. Thought the handshake was a story, not the tremor in the eyes. You don't see the late night visits, plain folders on the chair, men who talk in velvet voices, leave a chill along the air. You don't picture payment columns that don't live in any bank, or the favors stacked like boxes in a room that's never blank. Every contract has a shadow, every promise has a seam. You'll walk polished through the lobby with a stain inside the beam. There's a key in the desk drawer that runs more power than the lights. It don't shine like any trophy, but it opens quiet nights. I turn it in my fingers when the numbers look too clean. It reminds me what I promised and the things I've left unseen. If you wanna rule this building like the world is on your floor, you better understand the metal sleeping in that desk drawer. Rule 1, never take a meeting where the witness owns the room. Have your exit marked and ready long before you leave your shoes. Rule 2, keep the laughing dinners far from where you choose to store. All the histories of leverage in a safe behind the door. Rule 3, never sign a paper if your heartbeat starts to race. That's your body drawing borders that the ink can't quite erase. These fine lines across my knuckles look like maps of hidden streets. Everyone's a quiet bargain that the lobby never meets. You forget the code, you're just another line on someone's list. All your perfect coats and manners vanish in a closing fist. This whole tower's just a ladder, leaning hard against the dark. Slip a rung and all that polish hits the ground without a mark. There's a key in the desk drawer that weighs more than what you wear. It won't sparkle in a spotlight, but it owns the room you share. You can talk like you're a legend, spill your stories on the floor, but the truth stays with the metal rusting silent in that drawer. If you're still set on this stairway, hear the hinge behind the door. Every step you take up here just turns that key a little more. You're standing in my doorway with that fire in your eyes, city leaking through the blinds like a field of quiet lies. Desk lamp burning over paper, figures marching down in red. There's a notebook by my elbow full of what we left unsaid. You keep rolling both your shoulders like there's something on your mind. I've watched hungry men like you walk in and walk out of this grind. Every favor has a column, every promise has a cause. Every name that lands in here marks the founder, marks the lost. See this margin by the corner where the lines just fade to white. Those are stories that got settled somewhere private in the night. You think power's in the shouting, in the ones who fill the room. I've been adding up the silence while they're drinking to their doom. You say you're ready for the wave, you want your cut of all the sky, but there's a mark on every page you sign, and never ask me why. 'Cause a legend never lies, boy. It remembers what you do. All the debts you think you bury keep on walking back in view. You can paint it up in gold ink, you can smile and shake their hands, but the legend never lies, boy. It knows exactly where you stand when the talk turns thin and level and the air goes cold and dry. It's not the noise that makes the verdict, it's the ledger on your side. There's a folder on the table with your fingerprint in black. Tonight you step into a circle and you might not step it back. I've arranged the chairs and faces, cut the number of loose parts. I can't promise you the ending, but I can balance out the charts. If you hear your name get softened, if the jokes all sound the same, remember I'll be at this desk staring straight into the frame. I've seen sharper men than both of us fall crooked for a thrill, trading everything they stood on for a louder, shorter spill. I'm not here to play your father, I just track the turning tide, but I won't deny I'd rather keep you on the living side. 'Cause a legend never lies, boy. It remembers what you do. All the debts you think you bury keep on walking back in view. You can raise a glass and toast them, you can let the moment shine, but the legend never lies, boy. warm coffee pot is breathing steam beside the counter light. Neon open buzzes low, soft against the countryside night. You slide into the vinyl booth across from where I sit. Fresh boots, new leather jacket that don't have much dust on it. Paper man between us, folded wrong, corners curled and torn. Highlighter through the places where you think your name was born. Jukebox in the corner hums a tune you say you crave. You talk about the noise you'll make instead of if you plan to live. I used to ride this highway like a wild that never ends, chasing money, chasing whispers, outrunning enemies and friends. Some men never saw the sunrise, some just vanished from the game. Some traded out their restless blood for a smaller, safer name. I learned to keep my circle narrow, keep my story thin. Learn which doors you never knock on, which ones you don't walk back in. Kept my hands off easy trouble, kept my tongue off bigger names. Let the loud boys take the spotlight and the knock that always came. You say you want my legend, but you don't see what it weighs. Every mile that looks like glory's built on very quiet days. This is the code of the highway, written in dust and yellow lines. Keep your eyes up on the long road, leave your hunger back behind. Code of the highway, let your silence hold your ground. Do the work and close your mouth when the money's come around. I'm still out here in the darkness, 'cause I learned what not to say. Living by the code of the highway, driving farther every day. Out by the pumps, the concrete shines with old black oil and light. Truck beams sweep across your face, then bleed back into the night. You thumb your phone, you watch the sky like it's waiting on your call. I watch the way you stand there like you think you can't fall. I hand you back your folded map with one town crossed out in red. Tell you, drive right past that exit if you wanna keep your head. Then I toss my paper cup and turn my collar to the breeze. Hear the insects in the distance and the low hum of machines. You see a ghost in worn out denim, think I'm everything you need. You don't see the empty chairs behind me and the ghosts I never feed. If you step into this shadow, boy, you better learn to bend, 'cause the road won't crown you king, it only lets you ride her in. This is the code of the highway, carved in dashboard dust and chrome. Never trust a crowded table, never drag the fire home. Code of the highway, keep moving through the lane. I'm still rolling past these diners, still alive to point your way. Living by the code of the highway, turning off where you might stay. Desk lamp draws a gold ring on a staggered Seinfeld. City hum pressed to the windows to land up on the mattress. Tie undone around my collar, shoes still polished, jacket home. Phone face down beside the blotter, every deal that has done. There's a silver horse key lying where my cufflinks rest, cold against the pale white veins of this old noir desk. I start a sentence with your name, ink waiting in the pen. Right, I hope you never see the rooms I never walk you in. You stood once in that doorway, tracing picture frames with eyes. Saw the leather, steel and glass, felt the weight behind the lies. You said you always disappear when that quiet number rings, and you come back with your shoulders full of other people's things. I laughed it off and changed the subject, turned you toward the moving lights, pointed down into all the traffic, said we keep this place upright. But you heard the strain beneath it, you could feel the missing part, the half of me that lived in folders, not in any open heart. I'm the hand behind the figures when the boardroom lights go black. I can tilt the floor of numbers, never show the hidden track. I'm the man who signs the night shift, moves the pieces, calls the best. I can cool a rising fire, clear a floor of quietness. But I keep your key on a marble desk, like a promise I undress, in a room of silent contrast. You're the one that stayed confessed. I can hold this whole dark city in a folder marked no risk. Still I keep your key on a marble desk. That's the line I couldn't twist. Do you remember that garage? Echo tires on painted lines, overhead fluorescent buzzing, pale and humming warning signs. You said if I walk away now, will you come and find me home? Or will I just be one more hallway in a life that walks alone? I watched taillights climb the ramp with like a low red closing door. Pull my coat tight at the threshold, heard my footsteps leave the floor. Press the door remote and listen as the ceiling swallowed light. Found your space inside my memory with the rooms I lock at night. Maybe someday some young Sue will stand where I'm standing now. Think a bigger chair and window makes the world beneath him bow. He'll trade hands he could have held for one more name upon his sign. Learn that empty private corridor, still repeat the same one line. I'm the man who signs the night shift, moves the pieces, sets the chess. I can make a storm seem distant, keep the thunder from my vest. But I keep your key on the marble desk, like a truth I can't repress. In a tower built on secrets, you're the one unbroken yet. bar stools turned upside down. Just you, me, and this longwood rail. Sign over the bottles, humming soft like a tired fluorescent jail. Back door to my office is open, lamp still burning on the books. Columns is neat, where nobody else ever looks. Scared and sending you dry glass with slow hands. Say rough knife, I'm in ties. I shrug and tap the counter answer, just adjusting someone's size. In that drawer behind my desk, there's a file with one name bold. A man who used to share my coat when the nights came in too cold. And I was the one who took loose favors and turned them into straight lines. Turned street talk into interest, turned late pay into hard fines. Learned to move zeros like soldiers, send them marching where they fit. Keep the balance looking honest while those pay for it. There's a rule for every secret that they slide across my desk. Yeah, you don't mix blood with business. You don't call a gamble blessed. You don't lend more than you're willing to lose and still stand tall. And you never let a man's forget who caught him in his fall. But these pages don't stay paper when the ink sinks in too deep. Every margin hides a story that won't let us tell us sleep. In my midnight ledger, every favor has a cost. Every name I underline is another corner lost. I keep the numbers perfect so the bosses feel secure. But there's a brother in the balance I can't wash off my conscience pure. I built this quiet power from the shadows of their crime, and the line that keeps them breathing runs straight through my pen tonight. We started splitting cheap meals, counting coins in plastic trays, sharing one clean shirt between us on the better paying days. He was muscle, I was figures. He was motion, I was schemes. He walked out of narrow hallways while I polished all the dreams. Now his name sits near the bottom of a column art concern. Boss wants pressure on his corner, says it's time he starts to learn. You ask, so what's your problem? That's the road you chose to drive. I say, problem is the interest when you charge it to the ones who kept you alive. I could fold that sheet and vanish, slide his death beneath a lie. Call it mercy, call it treason, but at least he doesn't die. Or I could leave the ink as written, let the figures take their win. Let the math erase a brother while I straighten up and grin. Either way I'll lock that drawer before the first man hit the floor. Smooth my cuffs, adjust my collar, walk out knowing what I'm for. In this midnight ledger, every favor has a cost. Every name I underline is another bridge half lost. I keep the columns
shade on the lamp throws a circle on wood. Ledger open by my elbow where the lies look like they're good. You're sitting in the vinyl chair, leaning back like you belong, tapping fingers on the armrest to some distant midnight song. Down below the bar is humming, glass on glass and low. Soft laughs up here, I can hear the music through the floorboards like a draft. You keep talking about promotion, about taking bigger shots. I keep turning pages slowly where the ink shows what it costs. I was just like you one evening, all sharp shoes and hungry eyes. Thought the world was made of chances and not of interest and disguise. They moved me from the hallway to this room behind the door, put a pen into my finger, said you'll see the truth and more. Now I balance all the favors, all the debts they never speak, put a number by each quiet name that walks in here each week. You see stories in the spotlights and the cars in tailored cloth. I see columns, dates, and margins where the interest cuts in both. You think it's just fast cash and doors that open when you knock. I'm the man who feels the ticking buried deep inside the clock. You don't know what it really costs. You just see the shine and not the law. Every smile out on that floor has a figure in my book. Every handshake draws a line if you care enough to look. You keep dreaming about the power, about the things you think you've bought. I keep writing in the quiet what it really truly costs. See this drawer beside my knee with the folder marked in red. Those are men who missed a payment and now pay in others' stead. Not a word about what happened, just a blank space where they were, and a stroke across the balance with a pen that doesn't blur. You keep saying you're committed, that you'll always stand up straight, but I've watched a lot of strong ones bow their backbone under a weight. You want in on all the meetings where the heavy choices land, but that table's paid in hours I can't wash off of my hands. Never sign for what you're not prepared to settle in the dark. Never take a favor if you won't accept the mark. Never mix your pride with promises that you can't afford, or you'll end up just a number that I cancel with one chord. Yeah. You don't know what it really costs. You just count the wins and not the loss. Every late night call you answer, every quiet door you cross puts another hidden digit on the side you never gloss. You keep reaching for the legend and the title you were taught. I keep counting in the shadows what it really truly costs.
High floor, glass wall, city wide below my shoes. Big slam circles on the ledger like a halo made of dew. Fountain pen by my knuckles, figures walking down the page. Every line another favor, every column another cage. Safe door breathing in the corner, still it never says a word. But it's heard more broken promises than the streets have ever heard. I don't carry any weapon you could feel beneath the coat. I just move a single number and erase a man with one small note. You and me, we started running jobs when bills fit in our hands. Backroom coins and short cons long before the bigger plans. You were always first to laughter, I was always first to count. You would take the front door credit, I would track the bank account. Tonight I see your name repeated where it shouldn't ever be. Extra cuts in quiet corners where the ink won't answer me. I could call you in and listen while you dress it up as a need. Or I could balance out the problem where the numbers start to bleed. There's a cost to every favor, there's a shadow in each fee. And the one who holds the figures draws the lines they'll never see. I'm where the numbers bleed, in the margin of the sheet, in the quiet after closing when the city holds its breath beneath. I decide who gets remembered, who gets folded, who gets free. In the dim light of this office, where the numbers start to bleed. You can walk like you're untouchable, talk like you were born to lead. But your name is just an entry where the numbers start to bleed. Watch chairmen slam their glasses where they stand above the law, never knowing that their empires live on lines I have to draw. Men with polished shoes at meetings, talking loud about their crown, who forget that every secret passes through one quiet line downtown. Some are saved by shifting figures, some are folded in the sun. Some I left on borrowed time just to see what they become. Every time I cross a brother, every time I cut a friend, something colder fills the spaces where my patience used to bend. Far below this window's edge, there's an alley, there's a light. And I know which doors stay open when your totals don't add right. I don't pray for any mercy, I don't ask for any sign. I just keep the ledger breathing, put my silence on the line. I'm where the numbers bleed, in the margin of the sheet, in the hush before the sunrise, when the power men all sleep. I decide who gets a warning, who gets written off as seed, in the dim light of this office, where the numbers start to bleed. You can call yourself my brother, you can swear